The man simply invited his father-in-law over as a guest, but the moment the old man touched the chair before sitting down, he was so shocked that he dropped to his knees, because he instantly recognized the material. It was ancient wood over 1,000 years old, a rare tribute that once belonged exclusively to the royal family. But the man thought it was fake. He explained that his father had just picked it up from a junkyard. Little did he know, he had been kept in the dark all along, because his father was actually the richest man in the world. Yet instead of enjoying his trillions, he chose to live in the countryside as a simple farmer, all to raise a capable heir. Now, after 20 years, his son had finally made something of himself, started his own company, and become a business owner. So the father decided it was time to reveal his true identity. But just as he was about to speak, a large group of people suddenly arrived at the door. It turned out that today was the first time his son had brought his girlfriend home. The father hurried to the backyard to prepare a chicken for the guests, while asking his son to bring them inside. But the ignorant little brother-in-law complained that the chairs were too hard, and suggested chopping them up for firewood. At that moment, the father-in-law dropped to his knees again, because with just one look, he could tell that the chair was made of incredibly valuable ancient wood. But once again, the man dismissed it as fake, insisting that his father had picked it up from the junkyard, and that the faint fragrance from the wood was just because it was mixed with chicken droppings. Hearing this, the father-in-law felt extremely awkward, and started doubting his own judgment. To ease the tension, he pulled out some rare tea leaves from his pocket, and asked the father to brew a cup for him. But the father took one sniff, and casually said his own tea was better. Then he poured some for everyone to taste. The father-in-law took just one sip, and immediately began trembling, because this was none other than the legendary De Hong Pao, a tea so rare that it had been banned from harvesting for years. Only top world leaders had access to it. How could it possibly appear in the home of a simple farmer? Trying to shift the conversation, the brother-in-law finally got to the main topic, and took out a small ginseng root as a gift. But no one noticed that just moments ago, the man had been casually munching on 1,000-year-old ginseng, like it was a dried radish. To avoid embarrassing his girlfriend's family, the man decided to bring out one of his childhood toys. He walked inside, and returned with a dusty iron box. Smiling, he told everyone that it contained something truly valuable. He asked them to take a closer look, and started explaining, but no one realized how priceless this item actually was. Even his own son scolded him for embarrassing himself, but the father-in-law saw it immediately. It was a luminous pearl worth $1 billion, a treasure that had mysteriously disappeared after being bought by a secret billionaire years ago. As he carefully examined it, the brother-in-law suddenly snatched it away, thinking it was just a worthless glass marble. He tossed it aside without a second thought, but the father-in-law lunged forward and caught it with his life, because he could tell that this wasn't just any ordinary pearl. Still unsure, he quickly called a famous expert for verification, and the moment the expert saw it, he was completely stunned, because this was a lost treasure from the Ming dynasty. At that moment, everyone was in utter disbelief. The poor man standing before them was actually the richest man in the world.